How is it going, everyone? And welcome into the Coffee Break, the show where I take you behind the scenes on what it's like to run a small business in a very niche sport. Um, Super exciting past few weeks. I feel like I can finally breathe a little bit. A lot of announcements are out. Obviously, we talked about some of them last week. But now this week, I want to kind of walk you through a little bit more behind the scenes now that you've seen the site, now that some of the Brody stuff is out there a little bit more, and all of that. So I'll take you kind of behind the scenes on that, and then we have some great questions to get to round out the show. First off, thank you for the site launch. It was very well received. It seemed like there's a lot of traffic on the site. A lot of stuff got tested, and it was very rewarding to see like my hard work for the past several months actually be enjoyed by people. So that was very nice. And it also is very relieving that I don't have to, I still have some stuff, to keep working on the site, keep chipping away, but like the bulk of it's done now. So now it's just kind of the mundane, easier parts, which is very nice. And so that was awesome to see. Also looking forward for this week. Timing of this show doesn't work out great because there's an announcement coming tomorrow that I wish I could talk to you about, but instead I'm actually going to be filming kind of a behind the scenes vlog that'll probably come out Thursday, and then next week on Coffee Break I can walk through a lot more the business side of this announcement, why we made the decision we made, and we're super excited for that. A little bit scared of how our announcement is going to be received, but you'll understand once you see it. Received more so in entertainment wise, I guess is the best way to put that. But really excited. Tomorrow's an exciting day. And then this weekend is the launch of the Brody Dark Horse store on our site. So we have all of last year's Brody discs in hand. We're sorting and inventorying those, and we will be getting them up. All of the last year ones are going to be on sale on the site. And then we have the first Brody release is dropping Friday. So we'll start marketing that probably Thursday because we don't want to interfere with what's happening tomorrow. So super excited for that, though. The first Brody release of the year, first of many. We're really excited to be able to be working with Discraft and with Brody in this capacity again. It just makes a lot of sense. I talked about it a little bit previously, but now obviously this week is the week that it all actually starts dropping and releasing. So we're really excited for that. And it seems like a lot of people are really excited. Yesterday we did another Whatnot stream. I try to do a Whatnot stream every other Monday. And it was cool because I did it in the warehouse. And so I had the camera live, and I was able to kind of walk around the warehouse, and people were saying they wanted, let's see some Discraft, let's see some Castaplast, let's see whatever. And that was fun, but also I had all the Brody boxes. And so I was able to kind of rip them open, show people what's in them, and have people bidding on discs that are going on the site this weekend. But before they got on the site, so people got kind of early access to the last year Brody store. We didn't bid any of the new Brody stuff out, but that was really, people were really excited about it. So that gets me excited because it was our first gauge of how are people going to feel about this. And so to be met with excitement was really exciting. And the other thing that's coming, probably not this week, we'll probably have to do it next week or in 2 weeks, is Trevor Cash's Connor Shamans and Robbie Wizards. Obviously, Connor Shaman and Robbie Wizard were supposed to launch with the website launch, but the shipment got delayed, so they didn't make it until they actually came in yesterday. So I teased them a little bit on the Whatnot stream, but those will hopefully be hitting the site in the next few weeks. We'll probably just drop the Cash, the Shaman, and the Robbie C. Wizard all together. Just one weekend where it's a little bit of a slower weekend. That's probably what we'll end up doing, but stay tuned for that. This past weekend, though, the Mr. Unlimited Rock and the Hunterbird both sold out, which was awesome. This was our biggest restock of Hunterbirds we've ever had, so for that to sell out was sick. I think we'll probably end up running Hunterbirds maybe one more time. I'm trying to be very cognizant and aware of, you want to meet demand, but we also don't want to oversaturate with personality discs. I think that's something I'll probably talk about more next week as we have more personality discs and stuff starting to hit the market. But this is the first year where we have so many different releases happening, and we're trying to be very cognizant of not turning into what a lot of companies have struggled with, where there's so many releases that none of them feel special and none of them feel cool. So we literally have a spreadsheet of our drop calendar, making sure that even within a given month, we don't have too many hitting the site to where because that is how you end up with a lot of dead stock and a lot of it gets overwhelming. Like before when Ledgestone I think is a great example of this. When we first started Foundation, especially like 2021, I remember Ledgestone was like a huge revenue generator for us. Like we would get thousands of Ledgestone discs in across the course of the year, and now we get a few hundred Ledgestone discs in across the course of the year, even though we are at this point probably twice as big as we were back then, but we're ordering maybe 10% or 20% of the discs we're ordering from them. And the reasoning is the market got oversaturated. So A, they started carrying them themselves on their own site, but B, there's so many releases happening with the Team Discraft store, the Ledgestone store, and then the Ledgestone waves that by the time you see, like the Buzzsaw is a great example that like when it is something new that people haven't seen before, people freak out. We were able to pre-sell Buzzsaws. We had a little more Buzzsaws hit the site last week. I think we have 100 or so more Buzzsaws coming. But when you see something like that where the market's never seen it before, that's how all the Ledgestone stuff used to be. Like you've never seen a Crystal Sparkle Buzz. Now you can find a Crystal Sparkle Buzz. I'm making this one up, but you can find a Crystal Sparkle Buzz with like 10 different stamps on it. That might not actually be true, the Crystal Sparkle, but you get the point I'm making of like, a ESP Swirl Glow used to be, I've never heard of that before. Now you find it all over the place. And that's what the Buzzsaw shows. Like when it is something that's still unique, there is still that like desire to buy. But when the market gets oversaturated, there's no desire to buy. There's nothing, getting you excited about those releases. And that's what we're trying to avoid on our end. You want to have enough demand where it fulfills the people who like really want it, who are on the site you don't want 3-second sellouts. We've been there before. Then so many people just didn't get it. And there's so many people upset. So you want it to be ideally like an hour or 2 hour sellout is what in my head is ideal. Because then anyone who really wanted it got it, right? Because if you really, really wanted it, you're going to be on the site when it releases. You're going to be on the site within the first 2 hours. You're going to get it. But it's sold out to where there's still the exclusivity of the next one. I got to make sure I'm there. And it doesn't become I got all excited and really wanted it. I got on at 5. And then I could have got on Sunday night 3 days later and it'd still be there. So there's that fine line, and that's the line we're trying to make sure we ride to make sure we satisfy the demand of customers, but we also satisfy we reward people who are diehard fans, who actually really want to be there, really get their hands on it. And that feels like the good, stock discs. We're going to have some stock Foundation releases and stock custom stamps. The stock ones is the opposite mindset. We want those on our shelves all year long as much as possible. And those we don't want to sell out because we want it to be like, if you're a Foundation fan or you're buying for your friend who's a Foundation fan, they can come and get a Foundation stamp disc whenever, or Foundation apparel whenever. Versus stuff like the Mr. Unlimited Rock, we might never run that again. And so when it's a personality drop like that, where you're trying to make it be high demand, you can't have it be really high demand, really hyped up, and sit forever. Because then the next thing you want really high demand, really hyped up, it won't be, because people know, I'll just get to it whenever I get to it. So it's a fine line to ride there, and that's what we're trying to do. And we're trying to be very cognizant of that as well when we're picking and choosing what we're dropping, when we're dropping it, who's getting what stamp, stuff like that. We have to make sure we're staying within our realm, if that makes sense. It'll make more sense over the coming weeks, but really exciting weekend ahead, though. I think the first Brody disc we have coming is going to be, I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy it. Like I said, we'll share that probably in the next few days. I think the announcement tomorrow, people are going to be very, very excited about. And I don't want to talk too much more about that because I don't want to spoil anything, but we're really stoked. That's announcement 3 of 4. So there's one more coming. You got tomorrow, number 3, one more big one coming probably in the next 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. So really fun start to the year. It's been awesome. But let me actually walk through, if you didn't see the website, if you're listening on audio, I will try to be as descriptive as possible with this, but I'm going to share my screen here and kind of show you guys, for those of you who didn't see the website, kind of show you guys what we did. So first off, a completely new look. And one of the things I wanted to be a little bit cleaner. We got rid of the gold I also just went with the icon, and instead of it saying Foundation Disc Golf. That has an explanation that I'll get to, maybe years from now. But that's long-term thinking, reasoning behind that. Anyways, the big things here were the homepage. I just feel like looks much cleaner. It highlights our top 25 best sellers. The disc box has its own spot here. Search by flight number has always been there. This was the first feature I was really excited about. Trevor's bag, you can actually shop straight out of it. So this isn't actually shopping the discs in Trevor's bag, but it's the molds he carries. So like up here in this pocket, he carries the Phoenix, the Zone OS here, and this is the Raider over here, that orange one. So you can like click there and shop there. You can also hit to shop his full bag. We also previously didn't have our YouTube highlighted at all. Why, I don't know, but obviously we needed to. So that's now on our homepage, which is exciting. And then our blog is much easier to get to. And then below is similar to how it was before, where it's just a bunch of brands. So the next thing that was really exciting for me was how you can actually shop our site. So if I go over to discs, there's a few different tools. The sorting on the left, I think people are going to really enjoy. So I can go by the category of disc. So if I'm looking for, I want an overstable approach disc, I can hit approach, I can hit overstable, and it brings up overstable approach discs. You'll also be able to see like top 25 sticks with it, like highlights discs that are in the top 25, which is a lot of overstable approach discs, but it'll also highlight like new arrivals when we have new arrivals. The other thing you can do is come down here and sort by brand, price, and then in stock, out of stock. So a lot of people, this was a feature a lot of people wanted, where like I only want to see discs in stock, and when I hit that, all of these ones that were down here that were out of stock go away, so you're not having to scroll through a bunch of stuff, which is the old site you had to. And then what I'm really, really excited about too is the amount of detail we can add. So first off, let me actually do this. Let me just go like mid-range, stable. We'll just look at stable mid-ranges, right? So we have several stable mid-ranges here. So let's compare like the J to the Buzz to the Hex. Okay, so I can check this compare, and then when I hit compare over here, it pops out the menu. I hit compare now. And what it'll pull is the flight numbers for every disc, the price for every disc, and then their flight charts. So you can actually look at them right next to each other and see which one looks to be more like what you would want, right? So you can be like, oh, okay, the Buzz versus the J, I probably throw closer to this 300 mark. So, okay, the Buzz might be looking more like what I want. Or maybe the Hex, I want something a little less stable. That's looking more like what I want. And then straight from there, you can view the product. So the comparison tool, I think, is a big value add to our customers, but then also the actual product page, you can do this quick shop. If you just hit choose option, it pops it out, which is nice. But then the actual product page is also built out. Now, this isn't built out for every disc, but for a lot of discs, basically what I did is you lined out flight numbers, the side profile, because this is a big one where my goal with this is people want more details, but I don't want to give so much detail that every customer has to go through it. So what do I mean by that? Some customers want to come here. They know I want a Z Buzz. I like the color purple. Okay, there's my options. Boom, I'm going to take that Z purple one. That's all I want. I just want to come. I know what I want. I don't care about anything else. Other people are like, what's a Buzz? I don't know. So this is great. I see different plastics. I don't even know what big Z or Z is. None of that makes sense to me. I can scroll down. Now I can see the side profile of the Buzz. Okay, so now I have a better idea of what this disc is. I can see it's beadless. I can see what the shoulder looks like, all of that. I can see a flight chart for the Buzz. Okay, I can read some reviews. And then as I scroll down, I can see other discs. Like maybe I'm not sold on the Buzz. I want to see what some other discs are similar to it and compare them. So I see it's like the Barry, the MD3. I might have thrown an MD3 before. Now I know. And then plastic-wise, I can also see, okay, I didn't know what Big Z was. I can click and read, oh, okay, so this is kind of in between Z and ESP. Understood. Or I don't know what Z is. Oh, okay, this is your typical premium plastic, like your see-through premium plastic. So I can understand a lot more. So it gives more information to people who want more information. But for people who are just trying to come to the site, they don't know how dome's going to affect the disc. They don't care about any of that. They just want to shop the site, and that's it. You can do that. You can just come on here, shop the site, get your Big Z Orange Buzz, and get out of there. But then people who have more information or want more information, they have more information to go off of. So that was my goal with this, was to streamline it where the information's there if you want it, but the information it doesn't force you to go through it. So it still keeps a very streamlined customer process, checkout process, but it provides more information for people who want it. So I think this has accomplished it pretty well, and I really like how it looks. I really like the functionality. It works great on mobile too, because like 90% of our traffic's mobile, so I had to make sure. Obviously, I'm building it on a computer, and I'm looking at it on a computer, but I had to make sure mobile-wise it's there. The other thing I like is as you get farther down, you can still shop. Like, it takes you right back up. As you get farther down, there's a button that pops up where even if I'm all the way in the weeds down here looking at stuff I've recently viewed, I can be like, you know what? I do want the buzz. And I'm right back to it. I don't have to scroll it back up. And then the cart is also updated. So now the free shipping's in the cart instead of that annoying bar that always popped down. And it also has recommended discs in the cart. So you'll notice these are, you may also like, is pulling from the same thing of like similar discs and stuff like that. So now within the cart, I can add the buzz and be like, you know what, let me look at this MD3. And I can shop it right here, add it to my cart, view my cart. And now, okay, I'm $32 away from free shipping. And now I still have I can shop well within the cart and see discs that I might also like, which is another big value add, I think. It just makes the shopping process a little bit more streamlined. What else is new with the site? Because I'm going to show you the back end and how we actually make all this happen. But this is the main stuff here. That was the big stuff we wanted to add. Was a lot on the customer page. And I think a lot of that actually worked out really, really well. I've really enjoyed the shopping side. I think it's worked out well with that. And then we also have different product pages for each product. So for instance, apparel is going to look different. The big one that's going to be different is the box subscription, which unfortunately is sold out right now. But when I get down here, we explain how we treat subscription boxes. And then we show some previous ones. So now you can see this was January's box. This was this month's box. You can see the Christmas box, Halloween box. So you have, before you had no idea what you were buying. And then you can obviously read reviews and see, 71 of the 87 reviews gave it 5-star. This product's probably pretty sick. So it allows this page to be different from all other product pages, which before we technically had that capability, but it was a lot, the theme and everything we were using was a lot less. It wasn't able to do nearly as much. And then similar with our apparel, where right now, if I go to just the apparel page, first off, you shop it differently. So you actually are able to choose size and color like this, which is not what you do with discs. So first off, you can shop it differently that way. But secondly, you'll notice the layout's different because it's not discs. So you don't need the rim profile of a shirt. So obviously it doesn't pull that information. So every product's treated different. The other thing we can do is certain products that we have marketing images for. I don't have any set up currently, but I'll be able to pull marketing images and put them here. So how this all works, let me switch over to our back end. So this is the buzz. I was just showing you the buzz. So how it works is these things called meta fields on Shopify. And essentially what we do is it is now a part of our process where when people are uploading discs, they fill these out. So every flight chart we actually make based on how the disc flies for us, because some flight numbers are just lies. So this way, is it going to be a perfect system? No, but you at least know this is a flight chart based on someone who's thrown it, not just based on arbitrary flight numbers. So that's why sometimes discs won't really match up to their flight numbers, but hopefully it's a more accurate picture. So the flight numbers get put in. Disk type, this is what allows it to sort the stability in the disk type. The rim profile goes in here. If there is a theme label, this is where we put it. So the buzz is part of the top 25. We put top 25 there. Other ones will say beginner friendly, stuff like that. And then the related products we're actually choosing, because there's not really an algorithm currently on Shopify that chooses it the best, where versus we can actually know I've thrown the berry, the MD3, the J, and the hex. I've thrown buzzes that fly like all of them, so I can put those in. And then once we do that, I can come up here and I tell the template right here, okay, this is a Discraft disc. So this is going to pull the Discraft information. So the default product is for a disc where we don't have all this information in, and that just pulls default product. Then we have apparel, which is the apparel page I showed you. All of these are the different brands that we have discs with the information in. And so that will pull the different explanation of what the brand is, explanation of the plastics and stuff, and then like subscription box is down here. So this is how the back end actually works if any of you are interested in that. And yeah, the other thing that we updated is our rewards program. That was the other thing I was going to tell you about. So we made rewards where there's a VIP tiers now. So once you get to different tiers, you unlock different things. So right now, basically, there's ways to earn, ways to redeem. This is all the same. But what's new is once you earned 400 coins, you get to bronze, 1,200 you get to silver, 2,500 you get to gold. And when you get to these tiers, you get like free coins, free shipping on your next order. Silver, you get a 10% off coupon to use once. But the big thing is every tier up, you earn more birdie coins per dollar you spend with us. So people who are really frequent customers are going to earn more birdie coins, and then there's different ways to redeem them. So you can get them mainly for coupons. So you can use them to get coupons off. And we also added that you can write a product review to earn coins. So you can see here, bronze coins, you get 3 for everyone. Silver, you get 4. Gold, you get 5. Bedrock is the base that everyone, when you join it, you get $1 spent, 1 birdie coin. I think it's actually supposed to be 2. I'll have to update that, but $1 gets you 2, and then it goes up a coin per tier you go up. So that was the other thing we added, is we updated our reward system. So overall, really happy with the site. I think that it allows the shopping experience is much better. The back-end experience allows us to provide a lot more details without that much more work. So all in all, very happy with it, and hopefully y'all have enjoyed it as well. I think it's went great. So a little bit nerdy there, but wanted to kind of walk you through the back end, and then let me get into some questions. We got a bunch of good questions here. So let me run through this. Let me start at the bottom here. Chaser EK says, you've been in the new office/store for a bit now. What do you think the next expansion for Foundation will be? The next expansion for Foundation is not going to come for a while. As far as physical expansion, we have some, business expansion we want to do, but physical expansion is not going to come for a while because there's room to grow both here and at the warehouse. And it's just a really good fit for us where we currently are. But I do think that at some point, what will most likely happen down the road is putting all of it in one building. Because right now, for instance, on Friday, we do a lot of social media promotion stuff for our drops that weekend, and we have to drive about 12 minutes to our warehouse. And like Brad this morning has stuff for like a text deal. He has to come over here. And there's a lot of like driving back and forth that it would streamline a lot of stuff. We were in the same building. But the current situation we're in, it just doesn't make sense because we're able to have rent very cheap both places versus if we were in one building and we need 10,000 square feet or something, that would be a lot more money to pay per month for a very small benefit. But I do think that is the next step eventually because like I said, we have room to expand here, our media team, build our media team out more, add more people to it. We have room to carry a lot more discs over at the warehouse we're in. So there's a lot of growth that can happen. So there's no plan anytime soon to make that happen, but I do think that would be the next expansion physically wise. Eric on the drum says, what's your favorite part of the off season? I think the part we're in right now is my favorite part, or kind of a little bit behind us, where we start finding out where everyone's going. We're ramping up towards the season, so we're getting excited about disc golf again. We're getting on the other side of the really cold parts where people are starting to play again. And it just like feels like a fresh start. There's a lot of energy in the sport. I think that's my favorite part because like when the season ends, you have Black Friday and Christmas coming up, and like there's stuff retail wise to look forward to, but like disc golf just goes into a lull, almost goes into hibernation, and then end of January, beginning of February, everyone starts getting excited. I feel like again about playing, about trying out new discs, about watching professional disc golf, about watching disc golf on YouTube. Like everything just starts to get some more momentum. So I think right now is what I'm excited for. Francis, and I'm sure a lot of other people want to know when the Connor Shamans are dropping. Talk about it a little bit, but most likely in a few weeks. Stickney wants to know, can we do Imposter again? We do have plans to do the Imposter reality series again. I don't know if we have plans to do one-off Imposters anymore. Probably will because it's just a fun time, but the Imposter reality series is for sure coming back. We're already working on the calendar to get the dates locked in, and then we'll start the planning meetings, and then we'll probably have another round of auditions to get some new people in. So be on the lookout for that if you want to be a part of the Imposter reality show. Dean Corbin said, did I run a marathon? I did. I actually have ran 2 marathons. So I ran the Disney World Marathon in January of last year, and then I ran the Richmond Marathon in November. And they were both a blast. I really enjoyed them. Marathons are really hard, but they teach you a lot about yourself. So I've really, really enjoyed them. Joel said, if Foundation were to sponsor a pro, where would the ROI come / what might they do to help? This is one we've looked at a lot over the past several seasons, and over the last several years it hadn't made sense. But I think that where it would come from is the cross promotion. I think what's tough for us versus other retail stores is where other retail stores need the pros to kind of give them personality and push their products. We have been able to build that out with YouTube, which is awesome. So we kind of can be our own personalities and we can do our own promotion, which is very helpful. But there is still areas for a Pro Tour player. I think, honestly, what we personally could do, Foundation, is because of our audience and what we've been able to build, I think we could do a lot for players on the personal branding side, where we can take players who aren't super well known, who you don't know their personality super well, and put them in content, help them with their content, and help them push that side more than just on the course. Because here's the thing, and we've talked about it a bunch, is where disc golf is, the majority of players don't know the Pro Tour even exists. So yes, there's a lot of eyeballs on the Pro Tour, but in the grand scheme of the sport, there's not. So there's a lot of opportunity to be made on the social media side. And that's where we try to take advantage of the opportunity that's there in growing the sport on social media and also raising awareness for what we're doing here. And I think that's where we could help a professional player do the same. So I think that's kind of where the ROI would be, is more the cross promotion. We could help build their brand, and in turn, as their brand builds, they can help drive traffic to whatever their sponsor discs on our site are. And obviously custom stamps and stuff like that. There's some direct ROI, but a lot of it is intangible of that side. So finding the right pro is always the biggest part, and that piece of that puzzle is finding a pro who fits the brand well, excited about doing that type of stuff. So I think that's where it would come, and that's kind of what they would do to help. But it'd be more, as I think it should be, what could we do to help them? And in turn, if we can grow their brand bigger, then it helps us more. But really, it's about giving our audience someone to root for and stuff like that. So that's what the idea would be behind it, if we're to pursue that. Super Entertainment Man said, early predictions on team standing for this season. Will Discmania repeat? Discmania's repeat is all contingent on Gannon, because Discraft will put up a lot of points. That's a guarantee. I mean, they just signed Ezra Robinson. They were able to keep all their main talent. And so they're going to put points up on the board when it comes to the Manufacturers Cup that we track. It's just more like Discmania, will Gannon have the season he had last year? It kind of it hangs a lot more on Gannon. I do think it'll be interesting to see. We're going to try to get FPO mixed in a little bit more, so I think Latitude 64 could be a force to be reckoned with, mainly just because Kristen's going to put points up and Isaac could put points up. But Discraft's so deep that it's hard to beat them out for sure. Let's see. The Hunter Kyle said, when will we get Foundation at Disc East? Missed you guys there this weekend. It looked like a fantastic time. I missed being there. It didn't make sense for us this year, mainly because by the time we realized the date / talked to Ben, it was kind of too close for us to get custom stamps turned around. And also, we went to the Unchained conference the weekend before, and back-to-back weekends when you have pretty much everyone has young families is a little bit of a no-go. So we could have made it happen. It would have made sense business-wise to make it happen, but it would have been asking a lot of our team. And so that's where it didn't make sense. But we are going to be at Disc South. The Ben Kenny, who runs Disc East, is doing Disc South this year in Dallas, March 1st and 2nd. So we're really excited to go down for that. I don't think it'll be nearly as big as Disc East as far as the amount of people that are there and stuff, but we're really excited to be a part of that. And then hopefully Disc East we can make happen next year. But the Unchained conference, it depends on where that falls too, as to it might be back-to-back weekends again. So we'll have to kind of see and learn that. Coy Springer said, what's the best business advice you've ever received? That's an impossible question to answer. I think that it's not really, I don't necessarily think I received it. It's more observations of people I respect in business, and realizing that one of the biggest things that separates companies, I think, is how the internal employees and how the customers feel about the company is number one most important. Products and the website and all of that is important. But if your internal culture sucks and people outside your company don't like your company for whatever reason, then you could have the greatest product on earth, but you're not going to be able to move it the same as if the other two are fixed. So it kind of lines up just, I don't think this is something I've ever struggled with, and I don't think it's something Foundation will struggle with as far as, because, I mean, at the end of the day, as a believer, as a Christian, my priority isn't Foundation. My priority is representing Christ, and if I'm representing Christ well, I'm going to treat people well. That's just how it works. And so when it relates to business, that means that I'm always going to put people first. We're not going to worry about making a dollar first and people second. And that's where businesses, I think, really get in trouble, is when you value the bottom line above all, or you value making a sale above all, or you value anything of like that, versus we value people. We value people internally, and we value our customers. And that, it guides our business decisions a lot. It guides our customer experience a lot. It guides a lot of that stuff where we might make decisions that don't make sense on paper, because it makes sense on like how we would want to be treated if we were a customer. And so, like Foundation Care, for instance, that is something where business-wise it can make sense, and up to this point it has made sense as far as the utilization of it, where people aren't utilizing it at a rate that costs the business. It makes the business more than it costs it currently, but we put it in place because one of the hardest parts of shopping online is a lot of people, we are their community, Foundation, right? And so we might recommend a disc, but we don't know how you throw at home. Or you might be in our Discord chatting with someone, but like you can say, I throw 300 feet, and someone say, oh, you try the heat. But we don't know if the heat's actually going to work for you. So what Foundation Care allows is it gives you that like safety net where you come to our site, and as long as you live in the US, you shop, you buy a disc that you've never tried before. And if it comes in and it turns out it was nothing that you were looking for, it was a terrible recommendation, we pay for shipping both ways for you to ship it back to us, and then we give you credit to cover the replacement disc and shipping for you to buy a new disc that will work for you, hopefully. And that roots in what we want as a customer, right? When I'm buying online, if I don't have a disc golf shop down the road where I can walk in, feel the disc, throw into a tech disc, talk to whoever, I can't do any of that, and I'm shopping online, I want that safety net to be able to buy a disc and not worry about if it sucks, or if it's not for me, or if, it turns out I didn't like the plastic, whatever. So like decisions like that, where it does open the company up to lose money, but it's not about losing money. It's about providing the best experience for our customer and providing what we would have wanted. And business wise, it just so happens that pays dividends in the long term, because now customers trust you. And so they're way more likely to shop with you. That's not the why you do it. You don't do it because at the end of the day, you want to make more money, but it is a byproduct where typically if you treat customers right, you treat your staff right, people are going to be more excited about shopping with you, and you're typically going to end up better off than if you just focus on numbers. We've seen it in disc golf. We've seen companies who used to be all about the internal culture, all about giving back to the community, all about growing the sport, all about all of that, shift to being all about money, all about making the investors happy. And what's happened? They're struggling. And I don't think that those are unrelated. I think that they're very tied together. So it wasn't necessarily something I received. It's just an underlying truth in a bunch of stuff I read, an underlying truth in a bunch of people I look up to in the business world, and watching what they do. And that seems to be a very consistent thing across the board. So, all right, we're going to go with like one more, and then we're going to hop off here. Let's see. We'll do this one. Ginger Stike said, not sure if it's a Christian base, but I'd love to hear what devotional you're doing. So I'm not doing like a devotional per se. What I like to try to do is right now I'm actually just I'm on like a read through the Bible in a year plan. Because I feel like that's just I'll start that in January, and then at some point I'll feel like, I really need to dive in and study a certain book, and I'll deviate off of it. But it's a good like way just to keep accountable, stay in the Word if you're not currently studying a specific book. So right now I'm reading through that. So I'm still in Genesis, obviously. Reading through, I think I'm in Genesis, Mark, and then Psalms and Proverbs. But you hop around a little bit with the New Testament and Psalms and Proverbs. But doing that right now for devotions. And then what I typically like to do is when I have free time at work, I'll read a business book of some type. But then when I have free time at home, I try to read a Christian book of some type. So the next one up on my docket is Radical by David Platt. I think I read it in high school, but I just found it again in my nightstand. And I was like, you know what? I haven't read this book in a long time. I don't even remember fully reading it. So I'm going to reread that one. And I'm also almost through Hudson Taylor biography. I don't think it's autobiography. I think it's just a biography. But it's basically the story of Hudson Taylor, who was a missionary in China. Very famous missionary. So reading through that. So that's what I typically like to do is I used to be a morning devotion guy. I have shifted to kind of being a nighttime devotion guy / just make time when I can because kids and family will do that. And so I tried to make time for that every day. And priority number one is do my Bible reading plan, whatever that looks like. And then if I have extra spare time at home, I try to read a Christian book of some type. And then at work, if I have extra spare time, I read a business development book of some type. Obviously, that's unrelated to devotions, but that's kind of how I read and how I compartmentalize everything. So that's what I'm currently doing. But appreciate all of y'all tuning in. Next week, I will go through the behind the scenes of, like I said, tomorrow's announcement. There will also hopefully be a behind the scenes vlog coming out that gives you a little bit more context and everything. So really excited for all of that. It's an exciting time at Foundation. Like I said, announcement 3 is happening tomorrow. Announcement 4 is coming in a few weeks, and that'll be the big 4 of the first quarter. So really excited for all that's going on at Foundation. Really excited for the sport this year. I think it's going to be a really, really fun time, really exciting time to be in disc golf. So looking forward to it, and appreciate y'all being along for the ride. I'll talk to you again next week.